Hello, Beach Channel viewers. I'm Max Wyler, and I have Brian here from MsCheezious. Brian, how are you doing?
I'm fantastic. Thanks for having me.
Now, you're becoming I don't know, legend yet, but you've been doing this a while. Tell me how you started.
Yeah, well, we're going on our 14th year. And we started with a food truck back in 2010. We were one of the first big food trucks like you know it down here in Miami. And when we saw what was going on, I went to the Arch Center that we were not existent yet. And there was a food trucks and it was crazy. And I've been in restaurants my whole life. And I thought, there's something happening here. So we kind of took a chance and we set up shop and came up with a fun name and started serving food that we knew people were going to love.
Yeah, and that name's MsCheezious.
MsCheezious.
Kind of cool. I mean, we have a lot of history together as our production company and all. We've covered you. You've won some truck events. I think at Magic City Casino, you participated at some of those, what we covered. Some of those were for Travel Channel. You started out with the truck. And then you have a Biscayne Boulevard location, right?
Yeah, we started with one food truck in 2010. Then we got a second truck because we were so busy. And then a year later, we ended up purchasing a building on Biscayne Boulevard and opening MsCheezious at 74th and Biscayne. And now that's going on 10 years.
When I'm driving down Biscayne Boulevard around that area, I can smell you all.
Smell us and you could see the neon lady kicking her leg out front.
Yeah, what's the influence on the lady? She's kind of I remember on the truck, sexy kind of attitude.
Yeah, well, we wanted, we love, my sister-in-law is a graffiti artist and she does pinup, and we wanted to go with a pinup vibe, and MsCheezious is a bit mischievous, and we wanted to have like a bit of an edge and sexy, and I think that she captured that, she captured our feelings with the art, and it stuck. So, now we did a neon with our leg kicking out front, to be in the vibe of the Mimo district and all the neon from, back in the day. So we wanted to fit in with the neighborhood.
So, I mean, you're a successful restaurant guy now. What were you before? What set up to all this? 14 years ago, what were you doing before MsCheezious?
I've been in restaurants and hospitality since I was 15 years old. I started way back in New York at a Ponderosa Steakhouse, wrapping potatoes and washing dishes.
It's interesting. We have a number of guests. They always started with one of these chains that don't exist anymore.
Yeah.
The guy I was eating it yesterday was with Chicken Unlimited.
Yeah.
Yes.
So I started at a Ponderosa, went into hotels, and eventually when I moved into New York City, I got a job with a big corporate restaurant that I was a training coordinator. I had my own training team. I used to travel around the world and open restaurants for them. So when that was done, I landed here in South Florida as my new home, and consulted, did other things, and then we decided to take a chance and do it for ourselves. We've done a lot of restaurant hospitality stuff for other people over the many years, and we decided to do it for ourselves.
Well, I could talk this business side because I love the business side of restaurants. It's so difficult. That's why a lot of restaurants don't make it. But our viewers want to talk about the food. So producer Christian, what do we got up there? Give me a picture. So Brian, what is this?
That's our buffalo chicken melt. And it's really fantastic. Good. Our buffalo chicken melt, and the buffalo sauce we use is actually the buffalo wing sauce that I used to make for myself when I made buffalo wings before we even had a restaurant. Since I was younger. So our buffalo sauce is real garlicky, spicy. It's delicious. And our blue cheese spread is a proprietary blend of blue cheese and other cheeses with some green onion. It's a fantastic sandwich.
So what's your most popular dish?
For 14 years, our barbecue pulled pork has been the number one sandwich, but that buffalo chicken over the last 2 years is first or second now.
So what are you making what I smell when I go down Biscayne Boulevard? It's definitely barbecue smell.
You're probably smelling in our barbecue pulled pork. We go through a lot of bacon, so there's always bacon working. And that and toasted butter bread on the grill always smells delightful when you go by.
So we're looking at, I think I see some bacon on this. Is there bacon on that, or is that pulled pork?
That's our smash burger. We do a fantastic smash burger as well that we just added to the menu a couple of years back. We were making these just for ourselves, and my business partner said, "Why aren't we selling these?" So Our smash burger is excellent. It's a very popular dish now.
So y'all are making these at the restaurant by yourselves that's enjoying them, or you mean at home, or what were you
Well, we eat a
making?
lot of grilled cheese, obviously. So, when we need to change things up a little bit, I like to cook. I smoke meats. I do all these other things that, we make grilled cheese because that's what we do as MsCheezious. But, outside of that, we could cook and do a lot of different things. So, some of the good stuff, like the wings, we sell grilled cheese, but wings are on the menu because I could eat wings every day.
Well, I think back when a lot of my friends, they get all these $1,000 grills and smokers and go crazy with all this stuff. And I remember on the show what we did, I think it was on Jack of All Tastes for Destination America. You just had a simple barbecue and you're making magic with that thing.
Yeah, I mean, listen, it's what if you know how to use whatever equipment you're given, you can make magic with it. So, you don't need the best of the best. You can do stuff simply, but if things like especially smoking meats and barbecue, it just takes time, and you really have to have patience, and it's a process. You have to trust the process.
And at that time, you were doing it on the roof.
Yeah, yeah, we were. That's right. Yeah,
You
we
still
did it.
doing it on the roof on Biscayne Boulevard?
No, not
now?
on the roof, but we're still smoking there. We still, all of our turkey breast is cherry wood smoked.
Is that what we're
turkey.
looking at here? What is this?
That looks like a combination of sandwiches. That looks like a classic with bacon, and then that's not our blue cheese. Oh, that's with the honey coming out. So that's probably a turkey with some tomato in there.
I would say that looks so good. Our vegan friends would hate that.
We
Would
have
you say?
we have vegan options.
Oh, you do?
We do have vegan cheese upon request. We have gluten-free bread, and we have vegan A's, so we can make all vegan stuff on a separate pan,
Oh,
so
yeah?
that it's completely 100% vegan to keep everybody happy.
Well, we have an audience, quite an audience of vegan people. I try not to eat that stuff though, because I don't understand.
I've done some big catering events and I went into a deep dive on vegan food, and I can make some pretty mean stuff right now. I'm pretty good. I
Yeah.
have to admit.
And the taste is good because a lot of times vegan stuff's bland.
It's just about trusting the process. I mean, I think a lot of the stuff that's generic and off the shelf, but if you look up, there's so many fantastic recipes for vegan food and alternative proteins like red lentils and stuff like that. So there's some really good stuff that you can do. So, our vegan sandwich, we can still add in all of the pickled onions and the things the arugulas and the tomatoes, and so we can make a really nice, a vegan and vegetarian sandwich that
Right.
still has a lot of flavor that pops.
Oh, cool. All right. I see another one here. What catches my attention? What is
Well,
this?
that's our pesto melt. We do a house made pesto. We use walnuts instead of pine nuts, which is a little bit different, and then we make ours with a Parmesan cheese crust. So we do Parmesan cheese on the outside, do like a frico on the outside with provolone, tomato, and our house-made pesto on the inside.
I'm telling you, I think Christian picked me for this show to torture me because all I get to do is look at pictures of beautiful food, and I'm sitting there drooling and trying not to embarrass myself. So your menu's expanded a lot since the truck days, right?
When we first started the truck, we only had 6 sandwiches, and chili and soup, and it was very limited. We cooked everything inside that truck, so it was difficult to, especially on those big busy weekends. We would go through all of the food and every day cook from scratch, start over and over and over again. But over those years, through South Beach Food and Wine Festival or Magic City Casino, when we had to do competitions, we would come up with fun new sandwiches. And those sandwiches resonated well during contests or during those events, that we had a little Rolodex of fun sandwiches, so that once we opened the restaurant, it was a no-brainer. We just went back to the biggest hits that we had over the years, and we just put those on the menu. So immediately the menu expanded.
Well, let's talk of the food truck thing for a second. When food trucks 14 years ago, they were a big deal. Now they've kind of, at least in my world, they've faded a little bit. What's happened there?
I think that that initial, when it got real busy real fast, a lot of people just looked at as a low entry point into restaurants, and a lot of people they got themselves a truck, but they didn't actually. So a lot of people that had trucks they've never worked in a kitchen. They never really cooked. They just, mom says I make a good burger, so I'm gonna get a food truck. But it's essentially a restaurant, and it's on wheels, so it's actually more difficult than a restaurant. I go to Biscayne, I turn the key, I open the door, and everything's fine. if I book a catering event with a food truck for 100 people for a wedding, and I got all the food and I'm ready to go, and I turn the key and it doesn't start, there's a problem. So I think
Is
a
that
lot
what
of
your truck's doing now, catering?
lots of catering and big multi-day events, Formula One, the boat show, the yacht show, stuff like that. Someplace where it's going to be stationary, but otherwise it's catering, and we do tons of
The
catering.
rules have gotten a little different too, right? I mean, I think when trucks first, they were just parking anywhere. Now they're kind of limited.
Yeah, they were. It was the Wild West when we first started because there really was no rules that. So the county was the first one, and MsCheezious and a couple of the other original food trucks from Miami worked with the commissioners and helped draft that language. That was then picked up by the city, then was picked up by the municipality. So, it got to the point where, if you see a food truck running around, to be able to vend in these municipalities, we used to have a book of licenses. While people had this notion that we were just running roughshod and doing whatever we wanted, I had more licenses than, any standalone business, because I had to be able to, vend in the city of Miami and in Dade County and in Palmetto Bay, so everybody got in on it. And, so we had a whole book of licenses every year.
Yeah, it was an interesting thing where the the cities would come down hard on them. And then all of a sudden they switched to where they had big food truck events. Palmetto Bay was one of them.
Yeah, Palmetto Bay. I think the one of the biggest one was up in Hollywood, that they, that sleepy little part of Hollywood by Young Circle. Some of those restaurants weren't, a lot of those restaurants up there weren't open on Mondays. And the food truck event was every Monday, and it kept building and building and building, to the point there was so many people in that area that restaurants that were closed on Mondays started opening on Mondays. So, that, again, that notion that, the food trucks take business away. We have a big social media following. So when we say we're going to be somewhere, especially with 10, 20 trucks, everybody puts the word out. It brings more people to the area. So it actually helps local commerce.
Well, that's definitely a case of the rising tide raises all ships.
Exactly.
Yeah, because you get nervous and start doing that thing. It doesn't work business-wise. French fries. My wife loves French fries. These look like she would love these.
Well, those are our sweet potato fries. So we do regular French fries, traditional, and then we do a sweet potato fry, and then we have fun stuff like our turkey 3-bean chili that you can do, chili fries, chili cheese fries, all sorts of fun stuff.
Well, from 7 items on the menu, what do you even have a count now? It sounds like a bunch.
I believe our must-have sandwich count, there's our chili cheese fries. Our must-have sandwich count on our main menu, I believe, is at 17 sandwiches. We have wings, salads, we have the burgers, we have the smash burgers. So, we definitely have a well-rounded menu now for everybody.
Right.
And milkshakes, that's our.
Aha, I see a milkshake.
We were the first
What's
ones.
going on here? I see whipped cream. I see.
Well, that's our pastelito shake. Our traditional, we wanted to keep it South Florida. I think we were the first ones down here to do a pastelito milkshake. So it's served with a pastelito in the top, but we also do a blend of cream cheese and you got me for a loss. But
it's good. Do you have an alcohol version of that?
I wish we did.
Are you anytime soon looking for?
Well, if we do catering, we have a catering liquor license, so we can offsite. We can do catering. In the restaurant we only do a beer and wine, so we have beer and wine. So unless you,
I love beer and wine.
Well, who doesn't?
Beer and wine's great.
Yeah,
especially the wine part.
But it doesn't go good in a milkshake.
No, it doesn't.
So that's a tricky shake.
Yeah. So let me see. What else does Christian have for us here?
There's our cotton candy milkshake.
Uh-huh.
So we do a cotton candy syrup and then sprinkles, and we put fresh cotton candy on top.
Your place, though, I mean, I see cotton candy thing and I'm thinking kids right off. I think yours is adult food, isn't it?
A lot of people think that they want to come there because it sounds like it's for kids. And then they realize that, this is really, when we obviously can take great care of kids. We've got great stuff for kids to eat.
But you're serious food. It's not like just throw stuff in the fryer and hope what you get. I mean,
it's all made from scratch and house made. And, it's, our braised short rib with pickled onions and arugula and, it's sandwiches that adults want to eat. And I think that, and kids, some kids surprise me. They've got, kids these days have much better palates than I think I grew up with. I've had them sit down and they want a crabby cheese melt, or a fresh crab salad with cheddar cheese. And so, I'm sometimes surprised by what the kids actually order. But yeah, our stuff is, it's not grilled cheese like your mom used to make.
Yeah, well, I mean, you're known for grilled cheese, so people might assume, kids grilled cheese. That grilled cheese that I had at your place is nothing like what my
No.
mother used to make.
No, and you know what's when we first started with the truck, one of the biggest compliments was a lot of people would come in a big truck event and they would come to the truck. They want to get their kid, let me have just a classic grilled cheese for my son. And then, I said, can I get you anything? No, I'm going to look around. And then the kid never eats the whole thing. Then they take a bite and then they come back. They want to see the menu again. And then, I would have older gentlemen that would come back that probably hadn't had a grilled cheese in 30 years would make their way back and say, you know what, I haven't had one of those. And that was the best one I've had in a very long time. Brought back some memories.
Oh yeah, I would vouch for that. Now, what are we looking at here? This is what is this?
That's our fig and Gruyere. So we do a fig jam with Gruyere cheese, a French Gruyere cheese on sourdough. And that one has become super popular. We started doing that one for an event. And this one, a couple slices of bacon in that don't hurt either.
When you say an event, is you influenced by client requests, or it's just stuff you read about? What makes you come up with a new menu item?
A lot of times, we've worked with South Beach Food and Wine. We've done every year that we've been open. We've done events with South Beach Food and Wine Festival, and when we go, a lot of the people that go to that festival, they go every year. So whenever we go, we want to show up with something different, something new, something we haven't done. And it's great because when we go, we can really see the reaction. You're doing 2,000-3,000 portions of something, over and over. And at an event, when people are making their way back a second or third time, you know if you got a winner on your hands right away. So, I mean, it's a great testing ground for some of our new stuff. But we just like to, go and show up and do something fun all the time when we go to something big like that.
You mentioned your new stuff, but I see the thing you've started with, basically.
There's
a
classic.
Right?
There's the classic, and if you when you get to that point one day and you're just so hungry you forgot to eat and you just can't decide what to eat, if you just make it and eat that, you'll be happy. You'll decide that that's really what you wanted.
Wow. No, those are great. I love them. But I mean, now with your menu selection and all the different things, it used to be with 7 or 8, it was easy. And you're not messing around portions either. Do you do half portions, or you leave the wimps at home?
No, it's a good reheat. You just put that in the toaster oven. It's a good reheat. So that's why I definitely suggest, and myself as well, when I go to other restaurants as well, like my wife and I like to go and explore and eat different things, but you got to bring a couple friends and you get 3 or 4 different ones and everybody just share so you can at least taste, your way through the menu. We have people though that have come to the food truck and they still come and they, almost 14 years later, and they still get the exact same grilled cheese because they want the barbecue pulled pork or they want the goat cheese and prosciutto and they want the same sandwich. And as much as they see the big menu and they want to branch out, they can't do it and they still get the same one all the time.
So you got Biscayne Boulevard. Any other location thoughts or anything?
Right now, we're just doing Biscayne Boulevard and the trucks and events. And, we're cooking up some other ideas. And, we might see something over the course of this year in some different places. But until I have a solid plan, I don't like to.
You've kind of shown your hand a little bit. It sounds like you like the fixed kitchen better than working in the truck. It's easier, or?
Well, I like to be able to provide more options, and the truck just limits the options. So, we've just did a big event over in December, and I really, it was back in the truck and back, that busy again. That has its moments too, so I just like people to eat good food, and I like, to see a smile on somebody's face. So, wherever we're going to sell food, and make people happy. I mean, that's, we're the ones that say we're a restaurant. We hung the sign out front. And if you're a restaurant, I'm basically inviting you into my home. So if I want to treat you to my house, you're going to get taken care of. You're going to get fed well. You're going to be happy when you leave. So that's the.
Well, that's kind of the magic of a successful restaurant, the consistency. I mean, if you eat at your truck or at your restaurant, it's all good. And it's all similar and consistent and all that.
Yeah. I mean, like I said,
that's very hard. You make it seem easy, but that's not easy.
It's not easy, but it's one of the major things in restaurants that people have to understand. You can feed everybody once, but after that, you're done. You need people to come back, and the only way to make people come back is to be consistent. You open at the same time, you close at the same time, you serve the same food, you have the same level of enthusiasm when you do it. Mm-hmm. It's important to be consistent, and I think we could probably name a bunch of very successful companies around the world that consistency is what got them there. So
or ruined them. one or the other ones that went away. I think Ponderosa is one of them now.
Well, the prime rib was never cut like it should be. It's always on an angle.
Exactly. Well, Christian's waving at me. Looks like we're out of time here, but MsCheezious on Biscayne Boulevard and Trucks for Catering, and once in a while one of these events, truck events or whatever. You're not doing too many of those anymore.
No, well, the big truck roundup stuff we're not doing so much anymore, but this is our third year. We'll be at Formula One again. That's a fantastic event that came to South Florida. So I mean, it's another fun feather in our cap here in Miami. So we're happy to be partners there, and that's our next big event the next month.
Beach Channel viewers, thanks for watching. Go check out MsCheezious. It's fantastic. That's a place I've been to many times, truck and at the location on Biscayne Boulevard. Thank you, Brian.
Thank you so much.